All right, thank you so much, kids. That was amazing. That was a lot of fun. And for all of you out here that didn't volunteer, as an extra incentive to get volunteers next year, I know a lot of you have noticed that Teresa Blunt has lost a lot of weight. The secret to her losing her weight is that she does these songs every morning. And so if you need to get your summer kick started off right next year, come and volunteer at Backyard Bible Clubs and you'll be able to get that beach body you're looking for. Because I guarantee you, if you try to do these exercises and all that kind of stuff, there's nothing on Tybo. I mean, it's good stuff. But these kids did these songs all week long, and they did an amazing job. And as you can tell, our theme this year is Colossal Coaster World. And whenever I saw the theme was going to be roller coasters, I got a little scared. I know that a lot of you probably never think that I'm scared of anything. You probably think I can tackle anything because I just look like that kind of guy. But the truth of the matter is I'm kind of a wimp whenever it comes to roller coasters. Like, you know how a lot of times, like, there's those moms that'll stand in line in the roller coaster, and then when it's your turn to go on, they walk through the roller coaster and go down the exit line? I do that with my wife. I'll stand in line with her, and they'll come time for us to go on the roller coaster, and I'll go through. But the roller coasters, not only are they scary, but they kind of make me a little queasy, but I like to go on 1 or 2 a year is about all I can handle. And I know whenever you get on the roller coaster, they look like a lot of fun. They look really easy for when you walk up to the park, don't they? And you look up and you see the roller coaster zooming down, and you see them doing the twist and the turns and everything. And then you go and you start to go up the roller coaster, and you kind of hear that click, 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 click. You guys know what I'm talking about? And you click and you click and you click, and you're thinking, this isn't so bad. Anybody can do that. And then there's that moment whenever the roller coaster gets right up at the top. And all of a sudden, you're able to see the whole world around you. You know, you're trying to pick out your house. You're looking at the little people below that look like ants. And then you have this sudden revelation in this moment of beauty. You're going down. And all of a sudden, that roller coaster starts to tip, and it goes faster and faster and faster, and you spin your tip. And then if you're like me, you just hold on to that bar in front of you. You close your eyes. I do not scream like a girl. I scream like a very scared man. And then you wait till the roller coaster's over, and then you open up your eyes and pretend like you had a lot of fun. And that's kind of what I do, but there have been some things I try to tell myself as I'm going on roller coasters. You know, as I'm going up, as you get to the top and you start to get scared, you remind yourself, a lot of people have gone on this roller coaster and they haven't died yet. You know, you also try to remind yourself that there's an insurance company backing this thing, and they wouldn't back this thing unless it was safe. The people who built this, you know, they made sure that as I was going through this that I wouldn't die. And, you know, it's really, I'm just going to feel like bad things are going to happen, but really everything is going to be safe and everything is going to be okay. And, you know, it's kind of the same thing with our lives. Especially for kids, you look at the lives of adults right now, and it looks like our lives are really easy, and it looks like our lives are really fun, and we're just having great times all the time. But you know, even for adults, there's a lot of times whenever we're on a roller coaster of life and it feels like things are just click, 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 click. And then all of a sudden you ask, what have I got myself into? You know, maybe you're in the delivery room. Maybe you're starting a new job. Maybe you've bought a new house. Maybe there's an illness you're struggling with and you say, I don't know how I'm going to get through this. I don't know how I'm going to make it. But the truth is, when you're at the top of that coaster, there is no button that you can pull that says, stop, I want an emergency exit. Because you got to keep going. And it's scary. But what I try to do is I try to remind myself that God has created everything. The life that I'm experiencing is a life that God created. Just like the people that built that roller coaster in such a way that while it would be scary and while it would be a lot of fun and while it would go really fast, that in reality it's safe. And the same thing with our lives. Even though things are scary, even though things look hard, even though it looks like we're never going to make it around that next bend or that next loop-de-loop in our life, God created our lives. God created everything that we're going to run up against. And while we may not think we can handle it, the truth is God created and we'll be safe. But at the same point, you have to make sure that you take advantage of the appropriate safety measures too whenever you get on the roller coaster. I was at a theme park one time. You know those big ships? You guys like those big ships that rock back and forth? Now here's the real question. Do you sit in the middle of the ship or on the end of the ship? Why do you sit on the end of the ship? That's what goes high, isn't it? Or somebody say really funner. That too. But that's the part that goes really high. If you're in the middle, it just kind of goes back and forth. But if you're on the end, it goes really high. And I was on one of those ships one time as a kid, and there were some kids that were up towards the top, and they didn't buckle their seatbelts in all the way, or the lap bars, or whatever it is, but they left them loose because they thought it would be really fun whenever the ship got all the way up at its highest point to stand up and scream. I know, it wasn't me. This is somebody else. And whenever this ship got to its highest point, of course, the kids let go of the bar and they stood up and screamed. And kids, do you know what happened? They started to fall. They didn't fall all the way down. They held on to the bar and they put the safety mechanisms on the ship, and we all stopped really hard. But these kids almost really got hurt. Is that ship a safe ride? Yes, it's a safe ride, as long as you use all the safety equipment that they have to keep you safe. In this world that we live in, there's a lot of things about it that can be scary. There's a lot of things about it that we should be afraid of. There's a lot of things that maybe should create fear in our lives. But God has put something, given us a gift, and that's safety and that's protection. For all my kids who've come to Sonrise Church before, what has God given us that helps us stay safe in this world and the reason why we don't have to fear? What's the answer? Sonrise kids, what's the answer? Jesus. Very good. Jesus. And now while our scripture in 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For God has not given us a spirit of fearfulness, but one of power, love, and sound judgment," it just doesn't simply mean that we shouldn't fear, but it means because we have Jesus in our life, we don't need to fear because Jesus is going to keep us safe. As we go through this world, as long as we obey Him, as long as we keep Jesus strapped onto our lives, we're going to be safe as we go through the loops, as we go through the turns, and everything else. You guys know those pictures that you take at the end of the roller coaster where you don't realize they took a picture of it and you look at the picture and you're doing all sorts of funny things? I found some of your pictures. Here's somebody. I don't know if this is you. That little girl is what I feel like whenever I'm on a roller coaster. But actually, I'm like Mom, and my eyes are closed. My eyes are not open. All right, here's another one. Now look at that. I mean, she's got to be at least 90. And she is having the time of her life. Either that or she's hoping that lady next to her doesn't like elbow her in the head. But you know, sometimes on roller coasters, we get really scared. But we don't need to be scared because it's going to be a lot of fun, right? And they're having a lot of fun. I got one more picture to show you. On this picture, we have two people on the exact same roller coaster ride doing the exact same thing. One of them is having the best time she's ever had. The other one is trying to catch flies in her mouth. She is terrified. She wants off that thing as fast as she can. And you know, I see a lot of people in life that go through life completely scared like this. The whole time they're going through life, they're panicking, they're holding on, they're screaming, they're wanting it to be over, they're wanting the next stage of their life to begin. If I can just get through this, if I can just survive, everything's going to be okay. But some of us fear whenever we shouldn't fear. And some of us miss out on all the fun that there is to have. And some of it's because maybe we should fear because we're not living our lives with Jesus keeping us safe. And we should be afraid because it's a scary ride if we don't have Jesus. But if you have Jesus in your life, then there's no reason why as you go on the roller coaster of life, you can't throw your hands up in the air. Start yelling out, hooping and hollering and having fun. Even my little girls, whenever they go on the little roller coasters at Six Flags, they put their hands up in the air. And they go and their heads bounce around and they scream and they chuckle and they have a lot of fun. And you know, sometimes adults, we can learn from little kids. Because we live in fear too much. But if we put our trust in Jesus Christ, we don't need to have a spirit of fear because what God gave us, the spirit of power, love, and self-control. And those need to be the things that we live our life through. Even though the roller coaster looks scary, even though we lose control sometimes, even though the loops and the spins and the turns, you don't know how you're going to make it through. God created your life. God created everything that you're going to go through. He knew what was going to happen. And that's why He gave you Jesus Christ, to keep you safe. And so if you have Jesus Christ in your life, enjoy it. Have fun. Stick your hands up in the air. Enjoy it. If you don't, you need to be scared. Because just like those kids on that ship, there's protection that's been made available for you. There's safety that's there for you. And you're making the choice to go through a really scary life without it.